right, let's do some live discussion of the Criterion collection. The Criterion Channel, what all is going to be on the channel. So I'm going to show, I'll be able to show the actual player, but I'm not going to be showing any clips or anything like that, right? Copyright. I'm just literally going to be showing what's on the channel a little bit this month, and then people can obviously take that information and use it. I'm going to get started here relatively soon. See if I make sure I have everything up. All right. Let's get everybody in here. And let's get a good angle. All right. So the Criterion Channel this month has tons and tons of good stuff on it. So I'm just going to be able to show some of what I think is valuable. So if you go to the Criterion Channel, again, I'm not logged in. I'm not showing any content, right? I'm just literally talking about what all's on there so that you can kind of get an idea. So if you're someone who's kind of in a position like me where you want to watch quality films, but you don't necessarily want to buy every single Criterion, but you're really interested in quality movies and you have not used the Criterion Channel, this should be your main streaming source. Okay. Of everything I've used, that's not maybe Canopy. Canopy's also really good through your library, but it's very limited. This is not an expensive option. Note I'm also not sponsored. This is not a sponsored video. I'm literally just trying to show you some things that I'm looking into or have looked into. Okay. This VHS Forever stuff in, and I wanted to show you some I've talked about on my channel before. It's just awesome this month. Look at this. We've got video. I've never heard of that. We got Body Double, Videodrome, which is one of the best kind of techno horror films ever. We have 2 versions of The Ring here, which is crazy. We have Clerks, and there was something else really cool on here. Lost Highways on here. Like what? Like that's a really good lineup. And it talks about how it selected those. So I would really recommend folks look into this VHS Forever part of the collection. And if you're seeing it on the replay and you have any thoughts, let me know. Okay. Let me know. Again, no clips or anything like that. I just trying to let you all know that this stuff is available. But what really caught my attention this month, well, a few different things did. Different things caught my attention. It's just like so good. I wanted to point out something that I probably would never make a video of, like just a direct video of. Okay, this movie, Two Lovers. This is a very dark movie about loneliness and dating and drama. Joaquin Phoenix, Gwyneth Paltrow, and this other woman, and he ends up kind of idolizing Gwyneth Paltrow, even though he has a girlfriend, and it has a real messed up ending. So if you've never seen Two Lovers, that's worth seeing while she's up there. This 3 starring Gwyneth Paltrow. But I wanted to mention that one because it would probably never make like a full video, but it's definitely worth thinking about. Okay. All right, what's some more stuff on here that's really good? I know there's something on here called Romanian New Wave, and I have very little of an idea about it, like at all. Worth noting, and I could not really get into this stuff, but it's probably worth knowing. If Little Caesar, I did not like, but I liked parts of it. And I am curious to watch I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. So I'm a big Edward Robinson fan. Edward Robinson, I guess. And should definitely be checking that out. Absolutely sure. Just seeing how you feel in it. Okay, what else? There was just like There's 2 versions of Wuthering Heights. If you haven't watched much of this, check it out. This is another film I'm recommending that's on there, Peter Hujar's Day. This is about a photographer who was famous in the New York scene, and his portraits. If you ever go to his website and look at them, his portraits were just stunning. Like, there was some stunning photography. And part of actually what holds this film back is that you don't really get to interact with those images, right? But it's cool. It's a fun watch, and it's something that I think is informative, instructive, interesting in my mind. I should probably get my microphone. That might help some. There we go. Hopefully this will help the sound a little bit. Still don't have like a webcam. This is like my built-in computer one, but I'm considering getting one. Anyway, I like Peter Hujar's Day. Rebecca Hall there, you may recognize from Vicky Cristina Barcelona. She was like the other girl. All right. So Peter Hujar's Day, and that's going to be in the collection formally soon. And then you can get more, there are more movies from Bim Weisshaw as well that you can look into. So there is that stuff. But beyond that, there are some really cool collections out right now. Just so many that I just wanted to talk a little bit about, because it's a shame that people might be so turned off from streaming. I certainly mostly am, because of bad streaming, that they're missing some good use of streaming like this. So Yearning, the exquisite ache of longing, melancholy, romantic visions of heartbreak and passion. Some good stuff in here. If you haven't looked at the Yearning, I mean, look at this. All That Heaven Allows is in here. And I believe the Todd Haynes informal sequel to it, Far From Heaven, I believe that's still in the collection on the channel. The Age of Innocence, if you've never seen that, you got to check that out. I've talked about that on my channel multiple times. In the Mood for Love is on this channel, and In the Mood for Love tends to stay on the channel. I've never not seen it on there. I have The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant in my library. I just haven't watched it. But In the Mood for Love is spectacular, and you should definitely watch that, as well as other Wong Kar-wai that you should see if you have not done that. Let's see what else we got. There's another one I wanted to point out. But one of the pieces I'm really, really glad is on here. And then I was going to talk about just a little bit. There is a 90s do the 70s collection that's on here right now. So there's Boogie Nights, which is a great, great, great film. Boogie Nights is a film I put off for a long time because I thought it might, quite frankly, just be, kind of a little bit more about, I don't know what I thought, but it's definitely like a great film, a tender film, a touching film. I was really surprised at how good it was. Paul Thomas Anderson. The Ice Storm is one that's fallen off a little bit in recent years, but it's mostly really good. I think the adult sections are better than the kids sections, and I talked about that in a video. And I haven't seen a few of these others, but I have seen The Virgin Suicides, which is really good. That's a good film as well. I have not seen Velvet Goldmine, but that is Todd Haynes, so I do have Velvet Goldmine on my watching list. Okay. A few other items. It's crazy, all this stuff on here. Stars. Oh, this is still on here. Then we gotta Yeah, this is still on here. So if you aren't familiar, this is still on here. There's a ton of Herzog on here. I do not know of any Herzog film formally in the Criterion collection yet, and that is something that has been talked about quite a bit. Other than Burden of Dreams, which is awesome, which is the documentary about Fitzcarraldo, which should be in the collection. But a lot of these are on here. Aguirre, The Wrath of God is on here. Great film. My favorite, Nosferatu the Vampire. I haven't watched Grizzly Man yet. Fitzcarraldo. Great film. And then I don't know a whole lot about a lot of the other films. But some of the main Herzog films are on here. And there are some of the other main Herzog films are also on Canopy. So it's a good time to be looking into those. So it's stacked right now, man. It's just crazy good. All this stuff on here. And again, I'm not sponsored. I'm just like want you all to see good films if you haven't. I can't really speak to that. There is a whole section that I wanted to discuss. And this is going to be the bulk of my focus tentatively. But we should have Bresson here. Yeah. Here we go. I'm sorry this happened. Robert Bresson. Right now, Robert Bresson. And I have not been able to find this anywhere, just DVD copies. I've had a difficult time finding Lancelot of the Lake. I am hoping that Lancelot of the Lake will get a Criterion release. Blu-ray, maybe 4K. I don't know if that could ever happen. But I would absolutely love if Lancelot of the Lake were to get a release, because I just watched it and it's very good. It has a couple of things I didn't love about it, but Lancelot of the Lake is very good if you like Bresson. And then Four Nights of a Dreamer is the one I have not seen yet that I will watch that's in this collection. Yes, it is unlimited viewing. It's unlimited viewing. Canopy is not. So Canopy, the library service I talk about, that has an even sort of broader spectrum that you can look into. And Canopy is awesome for stuff that's really hard to find sometimes. But Criterion, and notice I'm not even logged in, right? I don't want to get accused of like showing, streaming video, because I'm not. I'm just literally showing what's on the channel. But yeah, you can just keep watching. And I also like Criterion because as a streamer, I don't stream on here all the time videos. But if you're looking at videos and you don't necessarily like want to go through the whole entire film again, but you want to see a sequence, or there's something you wanted to look at again, or you think you don't want to watch the whole film again and you end up watching it all again, the Criterion Collection channel is very good for that. But like every so often they'll put up really good stuff like Lancelot of the Lake there. That's hard to find. I mean, the only thing, I can't find that anywhere except DVD. And that print looked pretty darn good to me when I watched it. And they usually keep like some of the Bresson canon on here. Like I'm usually able to find A Man Escaped, Pickpocket, All Is Love Balthazar. Right now they've got The Trial of Joan of Arc, which is on and off of there a lot, which is a good one. Melchette, which is very like Lejeune. Like I've not watched The Devil Probably, but this is an incredible lineup of films. And I'll end up watching everything he's directed at some point. So if you like Bresson, it's there for you. If you have never watched Bresson and you're watching the replay and you kind of want to get an idea of what you're in for, it might be best to start with Pickpocket because it's the shortest. Some of these films have short run times, but his films are a little bit on the deliberate side in pacing, so they can feel longer. But just be aware of that. But I just really, wanted to highlight that that's on there because it's a shame that Diary of a Country Priest. Yeah, the one thing about Joan of Arc for Bresson is it's really good. It's not as good as the Dreyer film, right? And I think that for better or worse, that holds it back a little bit. But the Dreyer film is like a top all time. I mean, not just silent film, but film. But I have a copy of the Bresson Joan of Arc. Really enjoyed it. We'll watch it again. Let's see some other stuff here that I wanted to look at. So they have a whole like featured collections, and I'm trying to make sure that the stuff I pull up here. Yeah. Oh no, they took that off. I thought they had more of the Todd Haynes on there, and they don't. Like here's something worth mentioning. I did not know that there was another silent of Joan of Arc. I mean, I did not know about that. All right, here's another good one. Suya Nakati was, and I apologies on the name, I just know the actor. He recently passed away. He was convincing, whether playing a mercenary or love interest, hero, villain. This guy, and this is cool. Like this is an example of why I love having. This is another example I really love having the channel and why I try to keep a channel subscription. Because like right now, and I mean Harakiri is usually on the channel. That's where I watched it for the first time. The film is amazing. He was in Yojimbo. Like, look at all these films. Like that right there. I mean, that first 8 or so is just an incredible run of films. I mean, I need to finish Quaidan or Quaidan. Yeah, I'm gonna look up that other Joan of Arc film. That looks pretty interesting to me. I'm really sad. I've been looking up lately as far as silent films. I've been looking up all the lost films lately. I do that every so often, and I really hope we get some of those somewhere. I really hope some of those silent films show up somewhere. And if anybody watches the replay and knows about how that works, I am not very skilled in my knowledge of how silent films turn up. Although I've read some interesting stories. I've read them like turning up in janitors' closets and stuff. And it's like, where did that come from? Okay. That's neat. Let's see. Let's go back here. The human conditions are all under as well. The Sword of Doom. That's incredible. So that stuff's all on there. Let's go back to the March stuff to make sure I covered the big stuff I wanted to talk about. Romanian New Wave, I don't know much about that. Feel like I did want to mention this a little bit because I kind of skipped past it. This sort of struck me as interesting. I know the Wuthering Heights that's out right now is not supposed to be very good, maybe. The one with Margot Robbie. But this has a William Wyler version because of that. Saint Joan the Maid. That has I see that there's a review of this. That's funny. Saint Joan the Maid. I would be willing to watch that. I was really drawn to the Lancelot of the Lake. So I don't know if I'm going to do a full video on that. As far as history, I probably will because of how I kind of played around with the style and the mood and the tone and all of that. But this is interesting to me. Sometimes with the Criterion Channel, if there's a popular movie out that has like literary roots, so to speak, it will pull stuff like this out. So the fact that I can find a 1930s William Wyler version, that is kind of cool to me. So anyway, this was just a quick little live stream that I wanted to do to show you all some of the things that were out in case you hadn't seen them. So if you catch the replay and anything like that catches your eye, let me know. And I'm going to do a video about my thoughts on Lancelot of the Lake because that's something I really want more folks to watch, with a couple of little things about it I want to mention. And then I don't know what I'm going to do after that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in. And we'll see you later.